and welcome to another episode of Real PR with me, Lauren, today, instead of Fiona. You get in my face. Today, I'm joined by somebody that I actually met before I started working at Scott Media. I had the pleasure of meeting John at one of Fiona's birthday events, and we've actually just started working together, which is exciting. So I'll let John introduce himself to you. Hi, John. Over to you.
Oh, thank you very much. I can introduce myself
You
now.
can carry on. Yeah.
Hey, Lauren, nice to see you, and thank you
And
for
you.
having me here. So, yeah, my name's John Lewis, not the department store, as you probably imagine I've heard so many times. My business is Gel Mindset Performance, so I'm a mindset and performance coach. Also train first aid for mental health, work with businesses, sports teams, individuals, people in their personal life, just helping them achieve what they want to achieve, helping them overcome the obstacles that are stopping them from, performing at their best personally, professionally. There's a very broad range of things I do and people I work with, Lauren. So has that answered it?
That has answered it.
Good.
But I want you to give me a few examples of different ways that you might do that, because I know it's not the same for everyone that you're going to talk to, is it?
No. I can give you kind of latest examples. I've been working a lot in business of late. A business I worked with back in, it was only last month actually, but they've just invited me to go down to Devon, just around the culture of the team and the business, which to be fair is an amazing culture. But I guess they want to kind of maintain that and understand, what's working that's creating that culture. So did some workshops with them individually. Sorry, not individually, as kind of small teams.
Yeah.
And that was around kind of, the mental health and its impact on culture, which then when the culture is positive, how that then influences the performance and the results. So it's given these guys a bit of time to reflect on, what was working well, areas they thought they could improve even more as a business, because we're all human and we can always improve. So that's one example. Yesterday I was with the local Swindon Town Football Club, delivering some mental health training to staff. Working with international sports people at the minute. I've got a lady who's going into the World Championships of Clay Pigeon shooting. So just kind of helping her with kind of the mental side, the mindset and emotional side, because again, technically, she's one of the best in the world. She's ranked number 2 here, but it's just having someone like me supporting her kind of with the hidden element, which a lot of the time is the reason that people don't perform their best. Like I say, it's not that the technical skills aren't great, it's just the emotions can get the better of them. So they're just a few examples of people and businesses and teams. And for me, Lauren, that's what I love. It's that diversity of it. And I think that's something I've learned in myself as I've gone on in business, is cannot be doing the same thing day in, day out. That's something that I think is, that, like I say, that I've learned. I need that diversity, and I'm blessed every day that people put their trust in me to do that. Obviously, I'm getting results with people because the business is getting busier. But secondly, and me from a selfish point of view, if I can say that, I love the diversity for my own kind of well-being and keeping my own brain kind of ticking along and committed and motivated. So yeah,
That's something that I love in what we do as well, because we're always working with different people in different industries, different goals. No day is ever the same. We're not writing the same stories for people, we're not regurgitating the same thing. It's all very personal, and as to what different people need. And I think that is really important for when you're running your own business, maybe when you're freelance like myself, it needs to be something that you love doing.
yeah.
Have you always done something like this? How did your career start?
My career, I love that. How did your career start? So,
What was your first job, John?
God, I've had many a job, Lauren. Many a job. I've been a holiday rep. I've had a courier company. I've been on building sites. Probably like you, Lauren. Your first thing is to be the mum. You need to bring the income in to keep the roof over the head, to keep the food on the table. I've got a wife, 2 beautiful children, and a little pug. So obviously, me being a dad, that's my first duty, and I love it. For me, that's everything. So it kind of, the reason I got into coaching and what I do is because it's something I naturally did. I've always had an interest in people. I've always been able to help people. I've always naturally been empathetic. I've also naturally been able to compartmentalize my emotions to situations, so I can have kind of a look from the outside without being too embroiled in people's story. Saying that I'm a dad, so sometimes, trust me, I get embroiled, as you know, as you must know, as a mum. But you know, the career started. I didn't think it started. I think I naturally became a professional at what I always did anyway. And when the kids were older, say older, you know, 18 and 16, they're still young, but again, when they were younger, it was more, okay, I need to mortgage, which I still do, don't get me wrong. But the older they got, I think it freed up more time for me to kind of soul search myself again. And, well, what do I want? You know, and it always came back to the same thing. You know, I love working with people. I love, it's person-centered, helping people be in control of their own decisions, helping people get the best out of themselves. And as you know, Lauren, Scott Media knows, there's no blueprint to, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. There's no blueprint to life. There's no blueprint to how everybody will operate. And I think part of the natural ability I've had is to be able to get the best out of people on different individual levels, because, like I say, people's needs are different, people's goals are different, people's backgrounds are different, and to be able to navigate different people's ways of going about life is something that, again, I've always been able to do. So to answer your question the long way around, Lauren, my business actually started possibly 7 years ago, but naturally I feel it's
actually worked its way up to
yeah
that.
I mean, I retrained, so I have qualifications and stuff. You know, for me, that was, I guess, the start of the career. Okay, I need to qualify, get accreditations, get training to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And again, I think that just helps in a professional sense anyway, because if a business, not that they do very often, says, got qualifications, I can say, I do have qualifications, you know, but experience becomes more than qualifications. But for some, they still want to see that.
Yeah, you've almost backed up what you found you had a passion for with what you need to be able to then take it that one step further.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's evolved over time. Have you found that sort of what we're all seeing, you know, the way that the world is changing so very quickly compared to maybe what it had? We've got things like AI, things like that coming about. You're hearing more and more about the effects and the change of the media. And I think mental health is something that's also evolving quite a lot. And we hear quite a lot about that being more and more important to businesses now and employers and things like that. What's your sort of take on the ways that that's changing or has changed since you first started, maybe?
Well, I think the irony of it is, I'll answer that in kind of two prongs with, you say, the way things have changed with AI, etc. So when I first started my business, this is what I love, Lauren. I like being in front of people. I like being with people. So when I first started the business around 2018, you know, I was just getting a bit of traction, and then 2020, obviously, COVID happened, and it was like, okay, now what? You know, now what? Luckily, I hadn't let go of my courier business, so I was able to kind of flip between the two. But because I wasn't allowed people in the office, I had to diversify online, as I had no business. And I am the biggest technophobe in the whole wide world, Lauren. I am the biggest technophobe, you know. Give me that iPhone and my kids will take the mick at me all the time, because I'm the only person at the till with the, what's it called, the iPay or whatever, and I've got my thumb on the thing trying to do this on the Aldi checkout thing.
Good old Apple
name
Pay.
drop to Aldi there. And Apple Pay. But it was either kind of diversify or don't have a business, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And I did. Look at me like I'm big and brave. I did, Lauren. I did. I went onto Teams. I was offered to do like workshops for certain organisations around mental health, because again, at that period of time, people were then looking in themselves of, okay, you know, we're in this situation now, and all of a sudden people are looking at their own well-being and their own mental health. And for the first time for a lot of people, Lauren, it was like life became important, again, if I can use that, because again, we all get on the rat race and we're going a million miles per hour, This actually gave people the time to pause and say, well, actually, there's more important things here.
Yeah.
So I think as my business grew and diversified, it was at a really important time where people were looking for coaching and were looking for mental health training and kind of trying to understand more about themselves and what's important. So it actually kind of excelled my business in a way that I didn't think it would, because it was online. I never saw that. And the irony is, here we are, 5 years on since that. And, there's some weeks I don't coach anyone in person. I have clients in Spain, coaching teams in Pakistan, coaching people all over the UK. Some are local, some are far, but it's something that I had to embrace, as the business wouldn't have, I guess, continued, even in its infancy. So it was kind of two-pronged. What I was doing was very, it was very relevant, because people were focusing more on their well-being and mental health, but I also had to diversify to online, as there was no business. So it kind of accumulated at the right time, but in a time and place that wasn't good for any of us, was it?
No, and it was in quite an unexpected way that I think things have carried on with that afterwards. We're like you say, 5 years down the line, and people still you've got the people that would often prefer to have a Zoom call or a Teams call without meeting up in person. And then you've got almost the other side of that, the people that really now value people meeting in person. I saw a post, I think it was on your LinkedIn, and you weren't even inside doing a training session. Talk to me about the sort of different ways in which you might do one of those.
A training session?
I think you were having a coaching session or something. You were outside.
Oh yeah, there's even that,
Yeah.
Lauren. Flexibility is key to change. And if somebody doesn't want to sit in an office with me and get the whiteboard out, and I get cabin fever myself, Lauren. And I know to get the best out myself, it's being outside and walking and whatnot, and just again having that flexibility with clients. For example, if a client comes to me and they've been in an office all day and they've been stressing in an office all day, as soon as I say, do you want to go for a walk? They're like, I would love to go for a walk. Yes, let's do it. Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And I think because people still think with when it's one-to-one work, I think for some people in their mind, it's still very clinical. You need to be in an office, and there's going to be a couch. There's going to be, I don't know. People still have a misconception of how things can be, and this comes back to the whole same as you with what you do, Lauren. It's not necessarily about you, not about me. It's about, okay, this is what my client wants. This is the outcome my client's looking for. Best way for us to achieve this could be different from this client to this client. It's not about me saying, no, you have to do it this way. So that flexibility and that kind of two-way, okay, I've got the tools to help you, but you can choose the location where we do it. Obviously, if we're walking past other people, we need to just kind of, be mindful of what we're saying. But yeah, flexibility, I believe, is key. And going for a walk in the office, Zoom, like I say, I do it, but still not my preference.
Yeah.
You miss this, you miss the energy, don't you? And kind of all the little subtle cues. But again, it's not me. If that's what the client wants, that's what the client is their right to ask and do it.
So how do you sort of plan how you're going to work with someone? What's your initial process of discovering, I suppose, what the best way for you to approach that is, depending on what someone comes to you for?
I often believe I make it up as I go along, Lauren, and that's the truth. Again, I think some things are so kind of unconscious in me. I don't mean that from a Buddhist monk kind of thing, but once I know what the client is looking for, and again, this is, I feel, where a lot of training and experience has come in, because I can tell no two sessions are the same. Is the outcome. You also need to understand what's stopping them from reaching that outcome, and that might be because of limiting beliefs, that might be because of lack of confidence, that might be because, I don't know, something happened for a little while back that actually has made them just put a blocker in their own kind of way of thinking, or the goal isn't big enough, or everybody is different. And it's for me to think, oh, okay, this is what I think or what I see or what I'm hearing. This is something I think that would be useful. Here's a little tool or an exercise. Let's kind of walk through this or go through this process together, or with the view of kind of helping that client get the outcome. So the most important thing is, okay, what do you want to achieve, and what's stopping you from achieving that? Because you've got the goal, you've then got the blocker, and the magic is, okay, removing that blocker so we can then go on and achieve what we want to achieve.
And I guess you get to see the success of removing those blockers with people.
Yeah, I do. And for some it's easy, for some it's not so easy.
Yeah.
But one thing I would never do, Lauren, is say, well, that's going to take you 10 sessions to get rid of that blocker, or I need to see you 20 weeks for the next 30, because it's not ethical. The worst business model in the world, but the most ethical.
Yeah.
Because only I know, like any individual will know, okay, this is working, or yeah, I'm getting the outcomes I want here.
Yeah.
If I say you need to come in for 20 weeks, you might feel good after week 1, week 2, and oh God, I've signed up for another 18 weeks. And now what? You're just going to kind of possibly just manufacture things up that aren't necessary. And again, that's something I build relationships on a person to person, business to business, sports team to sports team basis.
Yeah.
Because the needs are different. I have clients who I see once every week for a period of time, but that's because they want once a week for a period of time. I don't want people to become too dependent, because the whole kind of view is opening that door at the end and saying, there you go into the world with this now. I'm always here if you need me. But it's their choice. Some clients I see once every other week, some I see once a month, some as and when, some I see once and never see again, some I see once, never see again, but then all of a sudden something happens, they're like, I need to come back, because life changes, you're a busy lady yourself. Life is forever changing and navigating, and what's working well one day, there might be something else that kind of isn't working or going to plan. So, you need a new strategy or a new way of approaching that. So yeah, it's just down to only like I know if I'm getting the results I want.
Yeah. Goals change, people's goals change, and that's just something that we have to roll with, isn't it? And work out different ways of getting there. What's your favourite part about what you do?
What's my favourite part about what I do? That's a good question. You should be a coach.
Should I?
You should do. Yeah, I'll do this. Actually, no, you'll be better at this. What's my favourite part of what I do? My favourite part of what I do, I believe, is, when I say to people, and again, because there's different facets into what I do, different facets into what I do. But for me, still that one-to-one work. Somebody stepping into the office with me, or me going to their office, or going wherever they want, and them feeling they're in a safe space where they can just trust me to, they can just put it all on the table and know they're in a safe space to do it. Over a cup of coffee to start with, always, unless they want tea, because some
and then
people
if
are
it's the
fussy.
time of day, wine.
Well, I don't know. I'm quite professional. Yeah. Only after midday. All right, only after midday. But I again, and like I say, I've some of the work I do, I'm training 10, 15 people. Some of the business I'll go do workshops with, there could be 10, 20 people. Speaking in front of 50, whatever people. But for me, still that one-to-one, intimate work is incredible, because you'll find when you work with a big group, people are still reluctant to open up, again through fear of being judgment by their peers, or they just don't feel in a safe space to do it. So people putting their trust in me to offer them that safe space to explore what they need to explore, knowing it's going no further, knowing that they've got a little me kind of alongside them. That's, for me, that is why I still the first moment I stood up in my training, I'll never forget it. And I stood up, and again, it was early on in my career, so I didn't know what kind of coaching I was going to do. But at that point, I was kind of doing a bit in sport, which was always my passion. But then I thought life coaching, let me try that. So I qualified as a life coach. I'll never forget the first time I stood up in that training room. I said, "Hi, I'm John, and I'm here, and I want to be a life coach." And they said, "Why do you want to be a life coach?" And I said, because watching people make massive changes in their life for me is like, wow. I could only imagine it at that time because I wasn't doing it. But to do it now and be there and feel it and support people on their journey, knowing that I'm the right person for them to do that, for me is still a massive honour. Massive honour.
You said a word there that I've sort of grabbed onto, and it's something that we are working with people and with yourself now to sort of get out there, and that's trust. People, building that trust with people for them to lean on you when they need to for whatever it is that they've come to you for.
Yeah.
And a part of that is PR. And that's something that we are helping people create, is the trust with them. So leaving sort of the story part aside from it, other ways that you are making yourself visible. Talk to me about that.
Hannah Edwards. So Hannah Edwards is she does my socials. She kind of does all the stuff I would not do, just kind of the daily or every other day or however often she does it, just kind of those fill-in bits. Now I'm rubbish on social media. Rubbish.
You're good with videos.
Oh, thank you very much.
Like
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of editing goes on in there, especially with this Wiltshire accent. I've lost my train of thought now, Lauren. So Hannah kind of does, the fill-in days, and a day like yesterday, for example, when I was at the football club or doing something where I think, right, that's good PR for me. I need to put something down here and put a couple of photos. I'll do those other days, but I think without Hannah, I would not be consistent. 2 weeks ago, I had one of the busiest weeks ever. Sunday, I was training a load of life coaches in mental health. On Monday, I was doing some coaching in Newbury. On the Tuesday, the Wednesday, I went into a business. On the Tuesday, I was at a rugby club doing some stuff with it. And I did not document a single pic because I was just there doing it. It wasn't until the end of that week I was like, beep. I didn't record a single piece of that. And that's the truth of it, is I'm just being too involved in what I'm doing that I need someone like Scott Media or someone like Hannah saying, right, what have you got planned this week? Or, we need to get stuff out, because that's what I need, because I just wouldn't do it. If I didn't have a business, I don't think I'd even be on social media.
It's the side of it that we don't maybe think about. When you're starting a business, you're not literally just doing the one thing that you're qualified to do and to go into to do. You then got to do all your marketing and things like that. You have to be present on social media. You have to be present in other places for people to find you, as opposed to just going ahead and doing it. But talk to me about networking.
Oh, what do you want to know?
Well, chairman of
chairman
of a networking group. Go on, spill the beans. So you're making time in your business, obviously, to then make sure that you are building those relationships.
100%. I truly believe, again, for what it's worth, if it wasn't for me actually networking, I mean physical networking, I would not have a business. I kind of it coincided with. Again, I'm just trying to think the dates off my head. 2018, I was a courier one day. I qualified as a coach, 2 years of training, coaching NLP. I was qualifying that on the Saturday. It was my graduation. The day before that, on the Friday, was the first time I actually stood up in a network group. Now knowing, right, I've got this new venture. It was the first time I stood up and said, "Hi, I'm John, and I am a life coach and NLP practitioner." And just in my mind, I was like, what? You're not? You're a courier. But it was from that moment that I saw the power of being in a room, 30 people, other business owners. I was new to networking. I'd had this courier business for past 18 years or something. So it was established. It was doing its own thing. But this was right. This is new now, and I'm under no illusion. Yes, I'm qualifying tomorrow. However, the work starts now. I think people still have this misconception that, okay, I start a business now, just watch these clients coming in. No, further from the truth. The minute you start your business, that's when the work starts. And now I'm getting more established. It's just about that maintaining, isn't it? Keeping that pipeline open, keeping it open, because without clients and without staying visible and without thinking a month, 2, 3 months down the line, you're going to have no business. You need to kind of keep visible, keep things coming in. I don't just mean in a business sense, but in the relationships, hence why the networking is very important. Networking, like business, it's a long game. It's not, there's no, I've used the word blueprint a couple of times today in people and in life. There's no blueprint to business. Yeah, there are things that we, good, I guess, frameworks for us to follow, but there's no guarantee that anything is going to happen. And again, that's where real work begins, continues, needs to continue, because the more people who understand what you do, then it's like a marketing team for you, isn't it? It's a marketing team for you. And business-wise, I've been at business-wise. It's coming into my 3rd year. The time just flies, Lauren, honestly. Is it December yet? Nearly, yeah. Okay.
We're past that midway point of the year, so we're allowed to say the C word and start talking about the man that's coming down the chimney.
Oh, wow. Wow. We're actually closer to 2050 now than we are 2000.
That's really scary.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, that is really scary.
Yeah, sorry to scare you.
Time does go really quickly.
Absolutely flies.
And I think, sort of alluded to it a little bit earlier, things are changing much quicker now. And I especially feel this, I feel that the way that the world is changing so quickly, I don't remember ever sitting and thinking, wow, where are we going to be next year? Things are going to be so different this time next year as opposed to how they have been previously.
I guess on that, I'll ask, if I may, just because you're more with what you do in media and all the different facets and areas you work in. I get told what to do by you guys, but I guess for you guys, it's evolving and changing so quickly that, again, you need to be on top of it to I guess to make the impact on what you're doing. Yeah,
and not even just looking at it from a media perspective, because the relationships that we've got with the media and the things that are changing, TikTok seem to just come out of nowhere. Suddenly videos are being ranked higher compared to just normal post hashtags. What's happening with hashtags? Are they so important anymore? But then from sort of a wider sense of that, like I said to you, I think especially in employment law and things like that, we're starting to see that mental health is becoming much more important, not just on a personal level now. It's for everybody, no matter what size employer you are. But yeah, that's how things are sort of, I'm seeing them change. Do you anticipate anything in your sort of world and ways that you might need to adapt?
I just think keeping, more giving more awareness, because I think, again, a lot of businesses are understanding that the happier our work staff are, and naturally our business is going to benefit from this. The more valued we feel in what we do, then we're naturally going to want to perform for that business. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I think a lot of, generalization, a lot of, I don't know every business, but just from the work I do, the businesses must understand that link, that correlation between, we can support our staff. Our staff are going to naturally support our business. And I'm not talking just putting a pool table in the room, or 3 bars of chocolate. They should just be small pieces to a bigger point of, let's create a culture here where if people are struggling, they can tell us, because we can support them. Because actually on the course yesterday, one of the statistics, 16 point I should know this off the top of my head, Lauren, but mine's gone blank. 16 point something million days are lost a year through poor mental health, business related. 16.2 million days a year. Now small businesses, imagine the impact if you've only got a small team. And and it's all about from small teams to big businesses, big corporate businesses, the performance will naturally, like I say, be a correlation of your work staff. So if we can kind of get those numbers down, those work days numbers, and it could be more beneficial for the business because the costs will be less, productivity will be up. So your absenteeism will be less, gone. So I think it's just important for me to, keep spreading that awareness. And I also think just, we're coming to an age now, Lauren, where, we do talk about mental health more. We've all got mental health. We've all had mental health since the brain's been invented. Yeah, we're only kind of just talking
about it. It's a label, is I guess, that label of mental health. It's,
and we're just discussing it. We're just discussing it without it being a taboo, without a stigma. From my point of view in my coaching practice, I'm working with a lot more men. I still work with ladies, but for me, again, I think it's also educating people that, coaching and therapy are two different things. And, the benefits of, therapy was always seen, okay, if there's a problem, we go to therapy. And I think that's kind of a misconception, even with a lot of men. Well, something is not feeling right within me, okay, I'm just going to go to therapy. While coaching can be kind of more kind of proactive in a sense of, okay, to stop you going down there, let's stay on top of things with coaching. Coaching has its place, therapy has its place. I'm not disputing either or. No. But again, I think for men, it's kind of breaking that kind of taboo of, if you need therapy, go to therapy. If you need coaching, go to coaching. But don't ever feel though that you don't, if you need help, ask for help, or stay on top of things so you don't need to ask for help.
Yeah, come to you and get the tools that you need to be able to to get there without
whether that's me or someone else. But I think it's just that, let's just build this massive, worldwide awareness that actually it's not a weakness to talk if you feel a certain way. Actually, it's the opposite. It's a strength because you're capable of more, but there's something kind of stopping you right now, so kind of just breaking these stigmas, breaking these taboos. It's powerful and it's needed because everyone will benefit from it.
I think that's a good, powerful message to end on, John. I think
thank you.
That's wrapped it up basically in a sentence, hasn't it? That's the important of things that that people need to be aware of, and we will work and we will be helping you to spread your story and the awareness around it.
Oh, so, bless you.
Thank you very much for coming.
I really enjoyed that.
Today.
Thank you, Lauren.
That's okay. Where can people find you?
Here, sat here in this.
If they want to connect with you, John, where can they find you?
You ask me specific questions. Where can they find me? So they can find my website, jailmindsetperformance.co.uk. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
Excellent.
Yes. Phone number? Can I
give a phone number?
Yeah. So my phone number's 07947 828 675. And again, open for people if they want to explore how I can help in their personal life, in their business, or in their sporting organisations. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation.
If you want to find me, it's Lauren Roberts. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can look at our website, scottmedia.uk. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, all around there. Thank you for watching another episode of Real PR with me, Lauren Roberts, today. And I hope you've really enjoyed that episode as much as I have. And do go and connect with John. Take care. Thank you.